The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Suckling on the teat of tech.
With Paul Brislen.
Yes, let's talk high tech. Twitter.com/Paul Brislen. G'day there, Paul.
Good morning, how are you?
Not bad. First up, Twitter have announced they're rolling out something called New Twitter.
New Twitter. It's a bit like New Coke, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
That worked terribly well as well. It's the same old Twitter, but with a slightly new website, which looks quite cool. It allows you. It's got sort of a double pane view, so you've got two columns of things going on.
Whoa, double pane.
Double pane, I know, but half the pane. Double the pane, but half the pane. You can embed video. You can watch, see multimedia bits and pieces going along as well. The stream updates in real time, so it just scrolls constantly, which is all well and good. But I have to say, most of the people I know who use social media tools in any serious manner tend to use an application. So you've either downloaded something to your cell phone, or you're using something like CodeTweet or Hootsuite, or there are a raft of them. I use 3 or 4 different ones just to see what's out there, and you just miss out on all of this functionality because you just don't see it. So I don't know quite what new Twitter is for. I think it's probably there to wow new visitors to Twitter, so they can go, "Gosh, this is really cool. I must spend more time in here." Which is probably a good idea, but once you're in, you're off.
Maybe that will work, because I mean, if you look at Twitter's stats, still a significant amount of people do actually just use the Twitter.com webpage.
Right.
So perhaps if people were to visit that at least once and then get hooked in this new Twitter,
it's a bit stickier, and suddenly you're in. Yeah, maybe that's it. I saw some of the stats they were talking about. I think it's 90 million tweets a day. Which is rather a lot per second. My maths isn't really up to that at this time of day.
Did you hear that Justin Bieber has his own servers, own Twitter servers based in Australia? Did you?
Does that just mean we can switch them off and never see any mention of the Bieber again?
I know. Why don't they just?
Frankly, what were they thinking? But it's a good sign. It's a good sign that Twitter is maturing a little bit. They're thinking about doing more than just 140 characters. The ability to embed a video into a Twitter stream and have it just scrolling instead of it being a link to YouTube or something is quite cool. So more power to them, I think. So long as it doesn't get too cluttered. That was the thing that drove me away from Facebook is just the amount of stuff going on constantly. And I just don't need that, thanks. I'm good as I am.
I saw something pop up on Facebook last night, just on the homepage, to the right of the homepage, there was like a picture of a friend, right? And it said, and it was taken from, I think, a set of photos in someone else's photo library, but I knew the friend, and it said, "Tag this friend." And I was like, "What? I don't want to. No, I don't want to tag anyone."
My friend on somebody else's webpage. Oh no, it's horrible. It's horrible. And having heard the unpleasant things that the founder was saying about the people that do use Facebook and how stupid they were to trust him, I'm beginning to agree with him, and I'm thinking perhaps I just will abandon Facebook altogether. Once again,
yeah. You'll commit suicide on Facebook once again.
One more time, I'll leave, and then probably somebody will send me a link, and it'll all just burst back into life.
But as they say, Facebook, one of those places you can check out any time you want, but you may never leave.
You may never leave. No, absolutely right. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about checking out. Analogue switch off. The government says they want to switch off Analogue TV in 2013.
Yes, that's it. No more Coronation Street. Sorry, dears, that's it. No, it won't quite be that exciting. But Analogue TV is the old traditional method of delivering television over the airwaves. Uses quite a bit of spectrum, that is the frequency range. What they're going to do is switch that off, because practically, what are we up to? About 70% of the population are already up to using digital television, the likes of Freeview or Sky TV. By switching off the analog TV, they will free up the spectrum for the use of mobile phone companies, such as Vodafone, for example, where I work.
What will you do with it? Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Well, let me tell you, it's called LTE, Long-Term Evolution. This is the 4th generation of cell phone technology. So these days you hear a lot about 3G and how cool it is, and the typical 3G at the moment runs at about 7 megabits a second. We're moving to 20-odd megabits a second, which is still quite fast. It's faster than your copper lines delivering broadband at home. The LTE, the fourth generation stuff, runs between 1 and 200 megabits a second.
Right.
So the capabilities there are just phenomenal. We're not just talking about fast access to the internet on your cell phone, but rather mobilizing internet access at that kind of speed. So while you've got fiber to the home coming along in the next decade, this kind of capability will give you those kinds of speeds, but on the mobile world. So on your laptop, on your cell phone, on your iPad or your Slate, it really will mobilize the world of ultra-fast broadband. And that's just the beginning of the really cool stuff, I think.
So meanwhile, that spectrum is being wasted by Hell's Kitchen, Coronation Street, and Bouncy Balls on TV3. Why can't we just scrap that now? And why can't we not have this now? It's just being wasted.
You can't. No. So the UK, they've already switched off. In Germany, Vodafone Germany is building its LTE network right now, and it will be switching sites on live before Christmas this year. We're going to have to wait till 2013 because there are still a lot of people in New Zealand who don't have digital television. They either don't have access to it or they don't have a set-top box that will receive it. So whereas overseas they've subsidised the cost of set-top boxes and generally tried to move people off quite quickly, we've said no. If you want to carry on watching television, you can do, but eventually we will switch it off. And now they've put a stake in the ground and said eventually is by the end of 2013.
Yeah. Which
frankly is okay because the technology needs to mature a wee bit, and we need to get some standards and some serious amount of gear before you can start building a network. It's no cheap business either. We're talking $400 or $500 million to build a network at the very sort of starting point. It goes up from there. So we're not talking small potatoes, and it'll take a while to build. So 2013 is probably right. They were talking briefly about 2015, which would be horrible because that's 5 years from now. So you really can't leave the world in broadband if it's 5 years late. So,
well, I'm quite happy. I've already converted the folks over to Freeview, over to digital, so that job's done. So we're basically ready for it.
Well, one more of us, one less of them.
Yeah.
That's good. So now what you do is you just tell them there's no Coronation Street at all on Freeview, and they'll just stop watching, and it'll be fine. Yeah. It's a win-win. I like it.
I think they, in fact, caught up with Coronation Street when they went and visited the UK, and they're waiting for it to catch up here, because it's like a year behind.
We're a little bit behind. Yeah. Not too far behind, I think. But, yeah.
Hey, thanks very much, Paul.
Anytime.
Paul Brislen is on Twitter, twitter.com/Paul Brislen. Track now from the Naked and Famous.